everybody. What is up? What is up? What is up? Y'all, I'm so tired, but I got so much on my mind. It's like I'm tired. On my inside a little bit. It's not even like my physical. I feel like I'm tired from the inside. But I can't stop fighting. So here we are. So tonight, we're gonna have a really, really deep talk. I may leave this live up for a little bit because sometimes I get rid of the lives. But I think I might leave this one up because we need to real deep talk. Real deep talk. How do I put this? How do I start this? Okay, I'm gonna start with how hair care in my business, how I've been shown that it mirrors my life. So why hair care is perfect for me is because I'm the type of person that I guess people would say sometimes that I overly care. Like I'm a very caring individual, and that's a challenging thing to be in this day and age because when you're a very caring person, you have to set boundaries and you have to like set rules and parameters because if you don't, people that are not used to care, because it's not something that people receive all the time, um, they'll mistreat you because they don't know how to value what you offer and what you provide. So, hair care, getting into this, it's been really like showing me a lot about life, about my life in general, and about how things go. Because when I'm behind the chair, I'm dealing with people, I'm dealing with mindsets, I'm dealing with all these different kinds of things that come with people that make up their experiences, the way that they think, the way that they operate, and the reasoning for the choices that they make. With this being said, everybody is made up differently, and everybody does not respond the same way to the same things. I give everyone the same service. I give everyone the same care. I give everyone the same advice. I give everyone the same treatment, but everybody responds differently. Something that has frustrated me in my life is accepting when people don't take my advice. Um, Hi, how are you? It's really hard for me because when you care about people, you try to be there for them, you try to help them in the best ways that you see fit. And when that's not met with like welcome and open arms, where there's like resistance, it can be challenging to navigate through that. So, like with hair care, it's been a challenging week. It has been a challenging week this week because I'm learning that I have to learn how to have very uncomfortable conversations with people. I have to say things to them that may rub them the wrong way. And I have to say these things and I have to have these conversations in order to help them. And this is like the story of my life. Having uncomfortable conversations with people because I notice things. And sometimes I notice things because I pay attention. I'm good. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. And deep thought, but I'm good. I notice things, so I pay attention. And when I see little things, I say something. Because it's like, if I had a bug on my nose and you looking at me and I didn't know I had a bug on my nose, I would want you to tell me, right? If you see it. If I'm doing something silly or if I am making foolish decisions that could affect me negatively, I would want you to tell me. Even if I don't like being told, because sometimes when we're forced to look in the mirror at a time that we don't want to see our reflection, it's hard to do. And this I understand. So this is why I say the conversations get to an uncomfortable point. But without having these conversations, you can't make no progress. So like, if I have a client come in, for instance, and let's use a real scenario that's happening in my chair right now. This client is convinced that using oil is going to increase hair growth. Now, I have a difference of opinion, and my professional approach is something else. So when you go to somebody for professional help because you need help, and you don't take their professional advice, then that's of course going to affect the results that you expect to have from this professional. So it's like, how do I get the mindset to understand that we need to try something different without the mindset already being there? So what I'm learning is that sometimes you have to become particular and selective. And this is like for whoever needs to catch this kind of situation will catch it, because not everybody lives this type of life. Not everybody lives a life of trying to help people in some of their lowest places. This is a very challenging thing to do, because when somebody is at a low point, they could be hostile, they could be extremely sensitive, emotional, they could be all over the place when it comes to their state of mind. So when you approach this person to try to help them face what has gotten them to this low, that's not easy work, period. Whether it's in life, whether it's behind the chair, whether it's in your profession, because I imagine healthcare professionals go through similar things. You take the time to do research, and you take the time to test things, to understand how things work, to understand the function of certain things, to understand how all of these things are coming into play and affecting people. And then you try to share this research with people that needs help. But because the mindset is not used to these sort of solutions, the mindset automatically kicks against what it does not understand. So if a person's mindset is not fixed upon learning, taking in new things to understand them, there's going to be strong resistance. And it could be very difficult to help that person. And if you don't learn how to figure out how to deal with people when they're in places like that, it'll be hard for you to help. So like in my business, and I'm going to use my business to help me in my life, what I'm going to do is change some things. Because what I do is scalp and hair care restoration. Okay? What I'm learning and what I have learned is that a lot of people don't know nothing about scalp care. And improper scalp care is a bigger catalyst for why people are losing their hair than hardly anything else. Between lack of scalp care and then all of the things that are added to our scalps, we're losing our hair because of these. Because all of these things are clogging our pores, which are affecting the hair follicles underneath. But yet, we have become conditioned to believe that we need these things. So then when you come to me for scalp and hair care, and I'm telling you, no conditioner, no oils, no serums, no none of that. You like, what? If your mindset is not set to doing something different, then you're gonna automatically kick against what I'm saying. Even once it's done and you see a difference, your mindset still may not kick into gear to do something different. Because sometimes we're so conditioned to things that we're used to, whether they work or not, that we don't want to give those things up. It's like, what can I think of? Let's say you got this favorite pair of shoes and you wear them all the time. And when you wear them, your feet kind of hurt, but you don't really think that your feet hurt. And you just, you just think, for whatever reason, you got a little switch in your walk for whatever reason, because you love these shoes so much that you're blind to the fact that these shoes are hurting your feet. They're too small. They're not working for you. All right, you keep wearing them. And you're stretching them and you're putting them and you're making them work for you, because you done convinced yourself in your mind they're your favorite shoes and you can't live without them. But in reality, you're hurting yourself holding on to something that no longer serves you. So when I get these clients, what I've failed to do so far, and I thought I was doing a good job because I send out a consultation right before we get started. And in that consultation, I'm asking questions and I'm kind of letting them know where we're headed. But I'm realizing, obviously, I'm not giving enough information because people come to me and they don't understand what's really taking place. There comes a point in life where we have to decide, do I want it to look good or do I want it to be well? Do I want all to be well or do I want it to look good? Because there's a lot of people out here fighting to have the appearance of looking good, but they're not well. And it's the same thing when it comes to people's hair. A lot of people want their hair to look good, but their actual hair is not well. Me being a person here to take your hair from unwell to well, I gotta have an uncomfortable conversation with you. Because whatever's going on with your hair, I gotta talk to you about it. Whatever is going on with your skin, and here's the thing. Everything is not to blame on your hairstylist who's been doing your hair. Everything is not to blame on the shampoo that you've been using, the product that you've been using, because the common factor in all of those things is you. And I had to deal with these with myself. I'm dealing with this right now. My hair is up here. And a month or so ago, it was down here. I've been making the decision to allow my hair to be trimmed without making it clear what I mean by trim. And I noticed that my hair was getting shorter. I didn't say nothing. I was kind of confused. I thought it was me. Because I guess I just, for so long with people kind of coming to me the way that they have, I take accountability for everything. I'll suck it up and I'll be like, oh, it's my fault, my bad, for everything. So I thought it was me. But then, we kind of sat down, broke it down, took a look, looked at what was going on, and my hair has just been being taken shorter each time that I get it done, because I'm expecting somebody to be able to do something that I do that they haven't been trained in the same way that I've been trained to do these things. So then I have to take accountability for not making sure of that before I went through with what I went through with. And so now I have to deal with the aftermath of my decisions. So when it comes to our hair being in places that we would not like for our hair to be, we have to deal with how we're responsible for helping it get there. And so when I ask these questions in the consultation, like, how long has it been since you shampooed your hair? I ask that because if you're not shampooing frequently, that lets me know, oh, you got a gang of buildup on your hair, on your scalp. Sometimes the scalp has been so coated with, do I have something? Petroleum. Okay. I got some coconut grease right here. I'm gonna show y'all something. Do I got some ash? Okay. I got some ash in this corner, and I got some ash in this corner. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spray this side with my water. Okay. And then I'm gonna put a lubricant on the other side because that's what a moisturizer is. It's a lubricant. It's something that's meant to moisturize, soften, things of that nature. It's like a coating. You take it and you put it on, and it makes whatever was there appear to not be there because it's been coated. Right? Okay. Now, when we take a look at my hands, because we just saw that they were white, right? Now, if you look at this hand, it's no longer white. It no longer has that white cast over it the way that it did before. And neither does this one. But if you look closely, you can see that there's a coating over my skin, right? On this side, you can see that my skin is normal. There's like no coating over it in comparison to this side. You can see a clear coating over my skin. This is what happens when you put oil on your scalp. So when I come through to detox your scalp, to remove any buildup on your scalp that's on your scalp, guess what? There's a coating of oil over it. There's a coating of edge control or product or whatever you got on it. Whatever is on your scalp. When I go in to attempt to get that stuff up, if there's a coating over it, this is what we gotta do. Shampoo it. We gotta shampoo it in order to really get that up, and then dry it, and then detox it. Because if not, nothing's gonna come up because there's a coating. There's something covering the skin that prevents you from being able to really get to it. That's why when we don't want certain stuff to penetrate our pores, we put on a moisturizer. When you put on a moisturizer, like in the morning when you wash your face and you go and you put on your moisturizer, you're doing that because you want to seal up your pores, because you're trying to keep as much stuff from penetrating underneath as possible. Well, when you put stuff on top of your scalp, that skin is very much so opened, very similar to the pores anywhere else on your body. And when you put things over it, you're feeling it. You're feeling those pores. And so if you're filling those pores with things that don't necessarily need to be in them, what kind of effect do you think that that's going to really have on your hair? And then it's like, when you try to explain that to somebody, and you try to let them know, like, you know, you doing certain things is going to cause you to have certain issues, you know. But the mindset is not ready to shift. So what I gotta do with my business is I have to make stricter rules, all right, because what we're doing here is very, very serious. And so it's very important that the mindset is ready to commit to what it's asking for. I cannot say, I want to lose weight, and then I don't want to get up and go to the gym. So much so that I'm not going to get up to go. I know that's what I need to do. Or I'm going to get up and go, but I'm not going to use no exercise machine. I'm just going to go in there and kind of walk around, you know, sweat a little bit, take in the scenery, whatever. Check it out and then I expect to have some results. You can't do that. You can, but you're not gonna get real results. And so then that becomes a waste of time. A waste of time on everybody's behalf and also a waste of money. And one thing about me as a professional, as a hair care pro, I'm not hard up for some money to the point where I'm gonna risk the integrity that I'm building in my brand, nor am I gonna risk the integrity of the client's hair. So when you come to me, what's going to happen is we're gonna have a deep conversation. So I said, let's dive deep for a second, because everybody says they want healthier hair. Everybody wants healthier hair. Everybody wants fuller hair. Everybody wants better this, better that. But do anybody really want to work for it? That's the question. Because it takes work, and it's not just on my behalf. And something that I'm coming into realizing with some of these clients is that they think that I am solely responsible for what happens with their hair. My clients come to me, if they come to me properly, bi-weekly, which means out of a 30 to 31 day month, I see them 2 times out of that month. 2 times. And the rest of the time that they with their hair, they with their hair, not me. Now, I send my clients home with post-care instruction so that they know what to do with their hair. I make myself available so that if something is going on, they can call me. Mo, my hair doing this. I don't know what's going on. And I can help them through that. And we can talk through that and get through that. But if they aren't willing to do what's being asked of them or what's been laid out for them, then what can I do but try to correct whatever's been done when they come back to the chair? So when it comes to like new clients, I've decided that I don't want to add to nobody's confusion, because that's why so many are in places, in states of not understanding the results that they're getting, not just in hair, but in life. You don't understand what's going on, nor do you understand how the choices that you're making are affecting you positively or negatively. So then you just try and do what you think you should do to get through, because you don't know what else to do. It's just understandable. I've been through a lot of changes in my life, and I've had to face a lot of not so fun truths about myself. And so now I'm in a place in my life where I realize my truth, no matter how ugly it is more authentic than any lie I could ever tell. And so because of that, I'm a little bit freer than I used to be. A year ago, maybe, I don't think I could have been wearing my hair this short. I don't think I could have been in a place where there's like no coverage to my fat face, because I was very insecure about my fat face. So like me not having no long hair, I used to wear long weaves. I'm talking about long weaves, right? I used to wear long braids. I always wanted something long to cover my flaws. I don't think I could have worn my hair this short a year ago. But I've changed so much in my mindset, so that when I got to this place, the first time I did my hair, I was like, ooh, I don't know. That's the first session for everybody. And everybody reacts to it different, because everybody is left poofy that first session. I'm no miracle worker. I'm no Houdini. I don't have a magic wand where I'm like, bing. I'm not like Audra McGenie, straight hair. I don't have those abilities. What I do takes time. It takes a total of 4 sessions at 2-week intervals, which is 2 months, for me to take you from unmanageable and unruly to manageable and silky and healthy. It takes at least 4 sessions. Now, depending on how you take care of your hair at home, we might see tremendous progress from session 1 to session 2 in a matter of 2 weeks. Because it's like once you begin to care for something, it's like it revives. It comes like back alive. So when you begin receiving that hair care, if you go home and you do right, we might see some tremendous results when you come back in 2 weeks. And so then when we get to 8 weeks later down the line, it's like, whoa, look at you. And everybody's happy. If we can't get you to commit to that though, in that span of time where you come in that first session and you poofy and then you don't want to come back, you never get to realize what could have really happened for you. So then your impression with the treatment that's been done for you is not a good impression. So then what does that do to my business? It affects it negatively. Because I allowed somebody who was not ready to commit mentally to what it takes to achieve what they're looking for. I allowed that to sit in my chair. And now, when you get the results of your own choices, it affects my brand and it affects my business. See what I'm saying? So like, we have to think about what we're asking for. We must ask ourselves, is this what we really want? And if it is, are we willing to do what it takes to get it? Because to say that you want something but you're unwilling to do the work, baby, you're just like wishing on a star. You wishing and hoping and thinking and praying. That's what you're doing. Hoping, please, 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 let my hair grow. I don't want to do anything different. I want to continue to do everything that I've been doing. And the only thing I want to do different is go in and see this lady. And my hair is going to grow. That's not how that works. It's not how it works. And back to integrity. That's why I don't cover up my hair. That's why I do not deliver unrealistic expectations when it comes to my clients. I promise them no hair growth. I don't promise them when you come into me, your hair is gonna grow. What I promise them is that consistent care will reverse the loss that they're experiencing. If we can manage to keep our hair on our heads, then we can keep from losing our hair. The hair is growing. I promise. The hair is growing. If the hair is broken at the ends, where if you're constantly chopping on it, whatever the case may be, and the ends are constantly coming away, that's what begins to eat at the length of your hair. And then the next thing you know, you're left with less and less hair. This is a process that happens over time. It's not a result of your hair is not growing. Your hair is growing. Everybody's hair grows. Everybody's hair grows. We don't understand enough about how the choices we make affect what happens to the rest of our hair, because it only grows from the roots. Your hair is never growing in length. What's happening from the bottom, it's never growing from the bottom. What's happening is that it's growing from the top. And as it grows from the top, it stretches further and further in length. But if you're growing from the top and your length is ate up with split ends, and you spraying all types of stuff on your hair, and you putting high heat on your hair, and you ripping those ends off every time that you put something on it, and you combing through your hair and you can't get through it, so it's breaking off, and you brushing through your hair when you trying to blow it out and it's breaking off, and you shedding like crazy because you got a whole bunch of scalp buildup and you don't realize it. All that shedding is what's causing hair loss. All that shedding is what's causing your hair to break from wherever it's breaking from, because once it splits, it's very weak. The hair strand in itself is already kind of like on the weaker side, because you have to understand how small each one of your hair strands are. Like, they're tiny. They're tiny, and they got some strength and they got some bounce back. But what you have to understand is that if that hair is broken, when you go to do anything to it, wherever it's weak, because once it splits in two. So imagine something so tiny, so fine, being split into two. The minute that you touch it, it's gone. The minute that you brush through it the wrong way, it's gone. And when that hair is gone, now you gotta grow new hair. But it's gotta start from here. And it's gonna take time for it to get from here way out to where you want it to be. So with that being said, restoration is not about hair growth. What I do is not about hair growth. What I do is about restoring the scalp and the hair to its primary functions so that it can be at the healthiest state possible to do what it was made to do. Your scalp is meant to house your hair follicles so that your hair follicles can do what they do up under there, so that your hair strands can sprout forth from your scalp and then cover your scalp, so that your covering for your hair follicle is also covered. That's what your hair is meant to do. It's meant to protect your head. It's not just decoration. It actually serves a purpose. So like, in order for us to take care of our scalps, we have to take care of our hair, and vice versa. In order for us to really take care of our hair, we gotta take care of our scalp. That requires doing something different a lot of the times, because almost everybody that I talk to, that I get in the chair, has never experienced scalp care, or they have not had scalp care since they were little bitty things. Tiny children. That's how long we have been going without this kind of care in our communities. And sometimes a part of the issue is people thinking that certain things don't matter. Like, well, do I have to do all that? I get that question. Well, do I gotta do all that? Well, do I gotta do all that? Well, what is it even? You know what I'm saying? Like this, you gotta wanna understand what needs to be done in order to understand how it's gonna get you the result that you're wanting to get. If you're not willing to go through that, then just being honest, you're not ready for the change that you wanna make. And that's in life. That's not just in here. That's in life. Having these uncomfortable conversations is not the funnest thing in the world. It's actually kind of difficult because nobody likes you when you gotta tell them some stuff that they don't want to hear. But everybody loves you when you give them what they want to have. Sometimes you can't have one without the other. As it was put to me today, this is a pain is pleasure kind of situation, because you gotta face the pain of your situation, realizing how bad it is. Most people have never seen their scalps before, so when they see them, they're like, wow, I never knew my scalp looked that way. Wow, I never knew my hair looked that way. Wow, I never knew it was that short back there, it was that broken back there. I never knew I had that thin spot right there, because they've never seen it. And it gets to a point to where, you gotta kind of ask yourself, if you ain't never seen your head like that, have you been receiving any care? And then if you know you ain't received no care, then you gotta understand that what you've been doing ain't working. And when you're seeking care, you gotta understand when you're seeking something different in general, you have to understand that what you've been doing ain't working. What you've been doing ain't working. If I'm trying to lose weight, I've been fat my whole life, right? Chunky little thing, even when I was little. Because I like to eat. And I stress eat. And I'm addicted to sugar. And I'm breaking that addiction. I'm on a no sugar thing right now. I think that's why I'm so like, okay, let's breathe. Let's take a step back. Let's breathe. I ain't had no sugar. You know? But if I want to lose weight, I gotta accept that what I've been doing ain't working. What I'm eating, my lack of exercise, my lack of discipline, my lack of consistency, it ain't working. If I'm eating right some of the time, exercising half the time, but not seeing the results that I want to see, I gotta realize that something that I'm doing is not working. Something that I'm doing needs correction. Something that I'm doing needs to be fixed. Something needs to be changed. It needs to be tweaked. And if it gets to the point where I have to seek out a professional to help me with whatever it is I got going on, the least I can do is hear that person out and give whatever it is that they're saying to me an honest try, unless it really sits with me that this ain't something I need to be doing. But if I'm gonna commit to doing it, then I must commit to doing it. And I think that the problem sometimes with us as people is that we'll commit to something, but we don't really realize how much work it's gonna take until we in it. And then once we're in it, we're mad and feel like we got suckered into it. You know, I ain't know it was gonna be all this, and I ain't know I was gonna have to do all that, and she be all, you know, it takes work. I can't sign up with a physical trainer and then be like, dang, they making me exercise. It's work. Like nothing's gonna just miraculous. The physical trainer ain't gonna exercise for me. You see what I'm saying? Like the physical trainer is gonna show me what to do so that I can do it for myself. The goal is to help you get to a healthier state, kind of like on your own. Because even the decision to come in and receive the routine care is a decision that the client has to make. The client has to say, okay, I'm going to give this an honest try. I'm going to come in every 2 weeks. I'm going to do what she's asked me to do. I'm going to do my hair how she's asked me to do it. And that's what I'm going to do. If the client is unwilling to do that, then we have to understand that there's been a decision in the mind frame that has said, I'm unwilling to give this an honest try. So then with that being said, who is to blame for the results? If you start something and you don't finish it, if you start something and you halfway do it, who's to blame for the results? If somebody, you know what I'm saying, takes the time out to show you how something is affecting you and then show you how to correct it, and you don't do what it takes to correct it, who's to blame for that? And so with that being said, it's just, it's really been a challenging week to figure out how to approach people, because we live in a time where people are kind of sensitive and people are also kind of like on edge, like ready, like on go, like what? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, calm down, figure it out. No need for that. But we gotta have this conversation. And so I also want, just like everybody, to kind of in life think about having uncomfortable conversations with the people that you love, because it's necessary. And if you really care about somebody, you'll take that time to have that talk, because we don't learn about what we get right. And I'll say that again. We don't learn about what we get right. We learn by what we get wrong. Without getting something wrong, there's no need for correction in order to get something right, to get something on track. If you never get off course, you have no need to be redirected. So it's like when you find yourself in a position of needing to make a change, needing to do something different because you know it will better you or it will get you better results that you're looking for, you gotta be willing to make the mindset shift first. It's the mind that needs to change first. You gotta make up your mind that you really want what it is that you want, and then you gotta be willing to go get it. We as people must learn how to face the truth about ourselves. We live in a world where we can kind of make our lives whatever we want it to appear to be. I can take a picture smiling as if I'm happy all the time, every day. Life's a breeze. I'm happy all the time. And nobody would ever think that I'm sad because every time you see me, I'm smiling and I'm happy. And people will think that that's what I'm living. But then when I get home, I ain't so happy. I ain't so smiley, right? So it's like, instead of having to cover it up and fake it till you make it, I challenge us to face it. Face it till we change it. Instead of faking it till we make it. I challenge us to face it till we change it. Because there is no changing it until we face it. Whatever it is. If you want hair care and you come in and you're like, hey, this is going on with my hair. I don't know what's going on with my scalp, you know, and then I take the time to try to explain to you what's possibly going on, what I'm seeing, my observations, my suggestions. And you're unwilling to process that information to try to understand it, to take it in, then you're not ready for what I offer, or what I offer is not for you. And that's, again, with anything. If you really think that you want something and then you realize what it's going to take to get it and you ain't feeling it, then that thing is not for you. And it's okay to admit, oh, okay, I'm sorry, this isn't for me. Instead of trying to force a person to change to suit you, you change directions. That makes any sense. So, like on my end, rather than me try to force a client to do what I'm asking of them, I'm just going to switch directions and make sure that my intake process requires that a client is willing to do what I'm asking of them. So that way there's no back and forth about it. Like, you already understand what's expected and you've committed to what's expected. So that being said, if you're gonna do something, you wanna do something to better yourself. If you wanna go to school, go to school. Work at it. Work hard at it. Dedicate to it. Whatever you do, you gotta have some commitment, you gotta have some patience, you gotta have some consistency. If you want to be the best in your career, in your field, at what you do, you're gonna have to do some stuff that other people ain't willing to do. You're gonna have to go against what the majority is doing, because the majority of people are not at the top. The top is a very small, select few people. So that means when it comes to certain scenarios, situations, opportunities, it's meant for a small, select group of people. Hair care is not meant for the masses, because the masses don't want healthy hair. Everybody does not want healthy hair. And some people think that they want it until they realize what it takes to have it. And then they mad. Because I thought this was going to be different. I thought it was going to be more like what I was used to. and then it's not, and then it's like, So whatever it is that you want to do, you have to commit to doing what it takes to be there, whether you like the process or not, whether the process makes you uncomfortable or not. If you decide you want a career shift and you want to go from doing one thing to something else and you want to be good at it, you're going to have to learn how to excel at that thing. If you are becoming a parent and you want to be good at it, you have to learn how to excel at that thing, which means you got to do some research, you got to do some learning, you have to do some reading most likely, and then you have to do some applying of what you've taken in, because that's the only way that you learn. When we learn things, we have to do two things. We have to take it in, and then we have to act it out, or we ain't really learned it fully. You can learn something in theory, but never have the practical application of it, which leaves you at a disadvantage. You can know the practical application of something, but never have the theory behind it, which leaves you at a disadvantage. It takes both. It takes understanding what to do, as well as actually doing what it takes. It takes them both. So like the other day, I asked a loaded question. I'm going to talk about that and I'm going to leave. I asked a loaded question and I asked, can a person offer sound advice if they have no experience in the area? That was a loaded question because both answers are right, yes and no. And I'll tell you why. This is why I also said let's dig deep. Let's talk about that. Can a person offer you sound advice in an area that they've never experienced? They have little to no experience. So basically, they only know in theory. They know in theory what to say or what to suggest. And in theory, what they're offering is sound advice. One person gave an example and she said she's an RN. She said, if you have diabetes, I know how to give you sound advice on how to manage your diabetes, even though I myself have never had diabetes. She's in a position to offer sound advice, even though she's never experienced what that person's experiencing, okay? However, somebody who also has diabetes would be able to relate to somebody with diabetes, most likely on a deeper level, because they also have a physical understanding. They've experienced it. Experience is, in my opinion, the best teacher. But I also value theory. So when it comes to it, a person can offer you sound advice without having experience. However, they need to be able to back up that advice with theory. If you're going to tell me you use oil to grow your hair, you need to be able to explain to me what in this oil is making your hair grow. What about applying this to your scalp is making your hair grow? You need to be able to explain it to me. If you believe that conditioner softens your hair and you're saying, no, I have to use conditioner because it's the only thing that makes my hair soft, you should be able to, in theory, explain to me why that's so. Because it's my experience that that's not true. So in me trying to offer my sound advice, I disagree. And I can tell you why. And I can run you down through there on why I feel how I feel. What happens a lot of times is that sometimes people try to offer advice, but they don't understand in theory. They only have the experience, and the experience could be blinding them from the true result of what's going on. They don't even understand what's going on. It's like you just have the experience of it. So the experience is all that you know. And maybe you were told this is supposed to do this. If you do this, it's going to do that. So you just started doing it and you just believe what you was told. But you don't have the real breakdown of the theory, the method behind the madness. How does this work? What about this works? So if this works, could I dissect this and take this and it still works? Like all of that, you have to begin to ask those kind of questions to really be able to understand something. So when it comes to taking advice, I say that because we take a lot of advice from a lot of places. Because everybody's got their little remedies of what works for them and their, methods of what works for them. And well, I do this and, it worked for me. So then we go and we try this stuff and see if it worked for us too, right? Just because you know something by experience don't necessarily mean that you got sound advice. Just because you know something in theory don't mean that you have the experience to understand what's also behind the practical application, because anything that happens in theory must be applied in order for it to be real. So like if I think, okay, if I use this to do this, it should do this, I then have to test that in order to see that if it's true. So in my personal opinion, it takes both, but it can also be one or the other depending upon. You know what I'm saying? In my experience, I can tell a person in theory and in experience what scalp detoxing can do for their hair and their scalp. I can tell them in theory that detoxing the scalp, removing that buildup from their scalp, is going to remove anything that's blocking their pores. Because something is blocking their pores, is hindering their hair from being able to sprout from their pores the way that it needs to. I can break that down in theory. And then I can turn around and practically show a person by going through with the service and showing them, because I already got the experience because I did it to my own head, so I know what it does. So then a person who only has the theory of it can't argue with my experience. That's why it's kind of like a loaded question, because practical application can always argue with theory. Always. Because whatever you're talking about in theory has to be able to be applied, or else it's just a thought. Anything that you can't break down and test to see if it actually works, it's just a thought. So with that being said, my approach, my holistic approach, it has to be tested. It's something that has to be experienced. You can't just learn about it. This is one that you can't just learn about in theory, because you will never understand the true experience if you only think about it in theory. But also, this service is not something that you can just experience and you don't understand the theory behind it. Because if you don't understand the theory behind it, you'll experience it, but then you'll jack up the experience doing the same stuff that you've been doing. And then that's going to affect your results. And so sometimes when we don't get what we want, when we don't get what we expect, it's not that what we put our money into didn't work or what we put our time into didn't work. It's that we didn't apply it properly. We didn't take the time out to understand the thought process and then the practical process of it. And if I'm being honest, that's the problem with a lot of hair professionals, licensed professionals, and also unlicensed professionals. I could go on and on and on. Because somebody that just do her ain't got no theory. Guaranteed. They don't know if what they finna do gonna make your hair fall out. They don't know if they holding your hair at a 45 or if they holding it at a 90. They don't know if they need to over direct it or if they need to cut it where it's at. They don't know. All they got is the practical experience. And then somebody that went to school and they got all the theory, They ain't got no practical experience. Well, hell, they know what to do in thought, but they ain't never put it to action. So things are deeper than black and white. Things are deeper than this or that. Things are so much deeper than what's on the surface. So healthy hair and hair care holistically requires mindset shift. It requires someone who is willing to go to a different level of thinking and understanding when it comes to how they're dealing with their hair. You gotta be able to think differently. Hey, how are you? I ain't even been looking at the comments. Crazy people be on the internet at night. How are you? You gotta be able to think about it. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. That makes me feel good. I'll be praying that somebody out there feel where I'm coming from. I just be praying somebody know that I be meaning what I say in love, and that I want to see us all heal and all thrive and all flourish. But in order for us to do that, we gotta figure out why we ain't doing that in the first place. What's wrong? What's going on? And that's not a bad thing. It's bad to know that something's going on and refuse to figure out what it is. It's not bad to face it and figure out what's going on. It's not bad to admit, I got an issue here. Something is going wrong. Something is wrong. It's nothing wrong with admitting that. It's nothing wrong with admitting that we have flaws, that we don't know something, that we're ignorant about something. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong with acting like nothing's wrong, or with knowing something's wrong but refusing to do something different. Because I will remind us all before I let us all go that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That to me includes holding on to something while you're trying to do something else. It's like, let's say you're in a bad relationship. You know this person ain't your person, right? But you're holding on to him because of the history, because you're used to him. This new thing, this new person, or they treat you better. They make you feel better. The experience is different. You know it's something different about this person, and you like it, and you're intrigued, and you want to see where it goes. But you're so busy still trying to hold on to what you've had, that you can't balance the two. You're messing up with your new boo, trying to hold on to your old boo, and you getting into it with your old boo because your old boo know about your new boo. So now you got drama both ways. It's the same thing with anything in your life that you're trying to do different. So like, if you're trying to make good changes, your old habits is sitting there looking at you. And if you're still trying to hold on to your old habits while you're trying to do something new, your new habits is also sitting there looking at you. And everybody looking at you sideways. And it's like a tug of war. You can't have hair care and hairstyling at the same time. Like, you can't want a hairstyle that's gonna last you, 2 or 3 weeks, and then say you want hair care until your hair is at a healthy point. If your hair is at a healthy point, heck yeah, silk pressure lasts you more than 2 weeks. You should be silky, baby, for a while. But if we're being honest, especially with the approach that I use, after about 7 days, you're gonna start to notice a difference in your hair. Because even though you may not be doing nothing different, your hair is changing because you're sweating, your scalp is producing oils, things are changing. And when these things are changing in somebody who's new to service, it's not gonna always be pretty. It's like having to go to the hospital because you done got, let's just say you got like a rising or something. You got a big ass bump that you done let get way too big. Now you gotta go get it popped at the damn hospital because you done let it get out of control. Right? It's done got so freaking big that it's out of control and you gotta go to the hospital. Do you think that it's gonna be pretty? You think they're gonna take the time out to make sure you look cute while it heals? No. I hate to say it like that. Like, no, man. They ain't finna do that. No. They gonna do whatever they gotta do to remove what needs to be removed so that you can heal. They not worried about how it looks. They're not gonna do that. I was saying, like, imagine if you've had like a bump or something that you've let get out of control and you gotta go to the doctor to get it fixed. You gotta go get them to do something about it. If they need to remove whatever is the source of that problem that has grown for you, they're not gonna be worried about making sure your skin look cute while it heals up. They're gonna be worried about getting out what's affecting you negatively. So I say that to say, like, with hair care, if the hair is in such a position that it's not in a position to be cute while it heals, that's something that a person may have to accept when accepting that they need care. I have clients that still wear like wigs and things like that while they're working on the restoration of their hair so that they can have a hairstyle that they feel more comfortable with without affecting their hair. They wear a wig that they can pull on and off so that they're not affected by whatever is happening in the restoration process. Because the restoration process is not necessarily an easy process or like a cute process. But some clients, especially like new clients, they don't understand that. They're not ready to wrap the mindset around, okay, well, in order for me to have healthier hair, it might gotta be ugly for a while. I might gotta go through like a little ugly phase. They're not prepared for that, especially at the price that they gotta pay. They're like, wait a minute, I'm gonna pay how much my hair might not last? Because it very well might not, because we're having to do something to transition it. It takes, time. Exactly. It's a long-term process. It takes time. Oh, somebody understand. Bless you. Bless you. Somebody understands. It's exactly it. It's a long process. It takes time. And honestly, it's not even a long process. It's 2 months, which really isn't that long of a time, but it is a long time if you gotta go 2 months not doing what you used to doing and going through the changes that your hair is gonna go through while you go through it. Oh yeah, so then you definitely understand. You know exactly. Clients got unrealistic expectations all the time, so you completely understand what I'm talking about. And I just think that as professionals, sometimes, especially just me, myself, exactly, I'm having to learn to not just lay out what the client can expect from me, but also what I expect from the client in order to get them the result that it is that they're really looking for. Because I've been having experiences where these ladies they're not understanding nor prepared for the process of what I'm really telling them we about to do. They're not ready to wrap their hair at home. They don't know how to wrap their hair at home. They're not ready to not put certain products on their edges, not put certain things. They're not ready for that. But then, as a professional, that if you allow a client to not do those things, they're going to blame you for that result. They're going to say, well, I came to you to get my hair done and you did this to it and then this happened. But we know that clients lie. They'll tell us they ain't got no color on their hair and then we go in and then boom, there's color. So it becomes kind of challenging to, redirect them sometimes. Yeah, I agree, sis. So much so. I very much so agree. And it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic to think that something that we've taken time to, contribute to is the damage that we received and that we got. To think that that's going to be fixed overnight. To think that, even if a person is spectacular at what they do, to think that they're going to be able to fix you overnight after it's taken you all this time to tear it up. That's like me expecting to not be fat tomorrow because I decided I wanted to go on a diet tonight. It's unrealistic. And I love everybody. But I just want us to understand, we've got to start understanding the consequences of our choices and also the consequences of not knowing and not understanding the things that we use on our bodies, on our skin, in our hair, and the stuff that we do to it and how it affects it. Our hair be going through changes because we don't realize sometimes what we're doing to it and what we're using in it. So I've had a week of trying to explain it to some people, to some clients, and I still have some clients that are just in a place where they ain't gonna do nothing different. And that's okay. That's okay. Because they already clients. But moving forward, I'm going to really be kind of doing like a vetting process to make sure that you're ready for what you're asking for and you're ready for what you're signing up for. Oh, yes, it does. Facts. Big old facts. Because if we're not drinking water, we're not eating right, it affects everything, including our... I'm even learning that more and more and more. Like, trying to take care of my hair is forcing me to take care of my body because I'm realizing holistically that everything is connected. Everything that we do with our being is connected. So like our hair is definitely affected by what we eat and what we drink and the things that we take in. And people don't understand that. They don't understand how that can affect their hair. If you eating greasy foods, you gonna sweat that out somewhere. It's gonna come out your hair. It's gonna come out of your pores. It's gonna come out everywhere. So, oh my God, it's time for me to go to bed. It has been lovely talking to y'all. It has been lovely talking to you, Miss Bella. It's been lovely. I'm gonna come subscribe to you. I'm gonna come find you. I'm gonna screenshot this right now so I can find you. And I'm gonna come subscribe to your channel. And thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being here. It's awesome to be able to talk to other professionals because I really want to, get stuff together. I was just talking to my friend about that today, about taking like vitamins and supplements to kind of help with the things that we've got to put the things into our bodies that it needs in order to do for us what we needed to do if we expect it to perform for us the way that we wanted to perform. It was so wonderful talking to you. And I pray that everybody has a great night and, just kind of maybe sits and reflects on the things that's been said here and begin to understand and take a deeper look at what it is that you really want and also what it takes to get there. And I wish everybody the best on their journeys. Till next time.